Hello there, my name is Simon Chege, aka Mwalimu Lines from Somo Studios, and welcome to this particular video. I'm going to be sharing with you my Photoshop workflow from A to Z. So I'm going to be doing a number of these kind of videos, and I'm going to be sharing with you everything I do to maybe my images when shooting, when editing, every step from the first one to the last one. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys my Photoshop workflow, and I'm going to be covering the following areas. Number one, I'm going to be sorting the images and separating them because I normally shoot RAW and JPEG. So then I'm going to be taking one of the files and editing it from the start all the way to the finish. So without further ado, karibu sana. I'm going to be using the following collection of files. So I shot this a while back. There's a modeling agency we call Terra Models, and maybe sometime when I was setting up the studio around July, August, we had a collab shoot, and I'm going to be using this set of images to teach you guys and share with you guys my workflow. So let's do this. So the first thing I'm going to do, of course, I was shooting RAW and JPEG, and now courtesy of that, you can see I have each of the photos in two versions. The first one is the JPEG, and the second one is the raw file. Okay, so the benefit of this kind of shooting format is, in case I need to share something immediately after the shoot, I can simply share the JPEG files. Then for the sake of my editing and retouch a bit later, I can now utilize the raw file. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is separate the two, because when they are mixed up like this, it's a bit of a chaotic kind of formation to work with. So I want to separate my raw files on one end and my JPEG files on another folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new folder. The shortcut for doing that is Ctrl-Shift-N, like that. Here we are, and I'm going to call this NEF for Nikon raw files. Then I'm going to make another folder, same shortcut, Ctrl-Shift-N. Then I'm going to call this JPEG. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort my files by type. When I do that, the file explorer is going to divide my files into two categories. I'm going to have my JPEGs first, then my raw files down there. So I'm going to right click, you can see, so JPEG, raw file, JPEG, raw file, JPEG, raw file, JPEG, raw file. You can tell by the size. So the JPEG is around 15 MBs, 14.4, the raw file around 30, 27.6. So let me come here and right click like that. So then I'm going to sort by type. So when I do that, what is going to happen is it's going to separate my files based on their type. So I have the folders up here. So then the first photo up here is a JPEG. Then I'm going to have pure JPEGs until the JPEGs are done. Then from there, I'm going to have the raw files coming in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select. So I'm going to take note of the file name of the first JPEG and look for the same file number, and that is going to be the file number of the first raw file. So I'm going to select from this particular photo up until to the point that I can see this photo again, and now move those to the JPEG folder. So I'm going to press down my shift, and I'm going to scroll down all the way to the point that I see photo number 6437. I'm going to select up to here because those are the JPEGs. So then I'm going to cut them and put them in this particular JPEG folder like that. So then whatever I'm left with here are now raw files. So what I'm going to do with these ones is I'm going to select all of them like that. So then I'm going to move them to the raw file folder. And now you can notice I have two folders. Instead of having everything messy and so many images in the root folder, I'm going to have a JPEG folder and a raw files folder. So before I go further into this particular exercise, let me share with you guys the benefits of taking very nice images. Let's go to my JPEGs folder and let us just preview some of the images. So for example, let's take an image like maybe the last one in the set. The last image in each of the sets must be a good image, yes? And let's just pixel pick on it. So I'm going to open this. I'm using Picasa as my photo viewer. So then let's zoom in. Remember, this is a JPEG file, but let's just see how much amount of detail we have. So I'm going to zoom all the way into around 200%. Yeah, so that is my photo at 200%. And you can note I have a good amount of sharpness. So whenever you're going to be shooting for retouch or for editing, ensure that you get the maximum detail you can get from the camera. And just to check on the shooting information, I want to see what settings I use for this particular image. So I'm going to right click on this, then go to properties, over here, then go to details. So then I'm going to look at the shooting settings. Nikon D750, f-stop was 9, shutter speed 1/125, ISO I was shooting at base ISO or ISO 100. So let's go to the other last image in the other batch. You can see the amount of detail. Let's go to the other one over here. You can see this was a very nice high contrast black and white image that I was able to achieve this in lighting without converting this to black and white in post. Story for another day. So let's go back here and open the last image over here. Yes, a good amount of detail for retouch. So let's go to the other one, the last image over here. You can see a good amount of detail for retouch. So among the things I always ensure is I take very sharp images. So you can see very sharp images, very sharp images. And let's go to the last one over here, another very sharp image. So what you're going to do is I'm going to show you guys an editing workflow using Photoshop, and I'm going to be using the raw format of the file. So I'm going to go to the other folder over here, and I'm going to pick one of the photos just randomly. I want a photo with a bit of skin exposed so that I can show you guys frequency separation. So maybe I can pick how does this look? It's a good image. I love it. It's a good image. It's sharp. Yeah, it's sharp. It has a good look on the model and etc and etc. And now let's use this particular image to share with you guys my Photoshop editing workflow. So I have my software running over here. So what I need to do is go to my files over here, and then I'm going to simply drag and drop this file onto my software. Since it's a raw file, it's going to open in the camera raw filter window that you can see over here, and over here you can make a number of changes to your image. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to toggle my before and after so that I can see whatever changes I'm making to the image relative to the original image. So I'm going to hit Q, and that is going to give me a before and after view. So on the left I have the before, on the right I have the after. So let me start. For example, there's a video I did about recovering your color profiles, and let me just do that for reference. I'm going to go to browse profiles, and I'm going to pick a style we call modern, and I'm going to pick modern 2. So if you can compare the before and the after, the modern style is a bit warmer and a bit brighter than what I had before. But in case you want to make a few changes in exposure, for example, you want to drop your exposure like that, you want to maybe enhance your contrast, you want to drop your highlights. I'm going to come and spend a lot of time on this particular window a bit later, but as of now, let me just open the image so that I can get to the main editing interface of the software and do frequency separation. So I'm going to click open. So after you have done all that you want to do to your image here, just click open like that. It's going to open this particular photo on the main editing interface of Photoshop, and here we are. So what I'm going to do here is I want to do right away without doing any form of cleanup. I want to do frequency separation because I want to do all my cleanup after doing my separation, because if you do any cleanup before doing a separation, you're not going to be making the use of your separation properly. So what I'm going to do is do the process of separation, and I normally use actions for that. For example, I could simply press Control and F2 like that, and if you can observe over here, I have my FS being done for me. But for the sake of just reminding you guys how FS is done, or teaching someone for the first time, let me delete that and let's do this manually. So what I'm going to do, number one, is duplicate the image, Control J, so that I have two copies. I'm going to turn off the copy on the top, select the one below, and I'm going to rename this to color. So then in the color layer, I'm going to add a bit of a blur. So I'm going to, with the color layer selected, I'm going to go to filter, go to blur, go to Gaussian blur, and I want to have a radius of around, so let me change my preview here. I want to see the face. So let me zoom out a bit. Yes, I want to see the eye because that's normally the sharpest part of the photo. So then I'm going to drag this up to the point where I stop seeing the sharp details of the photo. So for me, that is happening at a radius of around 7 is okay for me, and I'm going to hit OK. After that, I'm going to turn on the other layer, and I'm going to rename it to texture, like that. So then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to apply texture here. So what I'm going to do is with the texture layer selected, I'm going to go to the image menu, then apply image, and I'm going to make the following changes. Source should be the same, layer should be color, blending should be subtract, the scale should be 2, and the offset should be 128. So once you put these settings for the first time, you not have to be changing the scale and the offset every other time. So after that, I'm going to hit OK. Then I'm going to change the blending mode of this particular layer from normal over here to linear light, like that. And now I can group these two layers, Control G, and I'm going to call the group FS for frequency separation, and I'm going to expand the group. And now observe what happens. When I turn off the texture layer, let me just zoom in a bit. When I turn off the texture layer, the image becomes soft because we are only seeing the color part of the image. Then when I turn off the color layer, the image becomes extremely sharp because we are only seeing the original image plus the new texture layer. So what you need to do is you're going to be making use of these two layers to clean up the image and make it very, very, very nice. So if I can just do I have the photos that I did from this particular shoot? I'm going to look for them at the end, but let's do this. So what I'm going to do is I can continue from this particular point, but I want to go further ahead and make backup layers that are going to be giving me room to continue working in case I make a mistake without having to start all over again. So I'm going to go to each of the layers, starting with the color, and I'm going to hit Control J. So then I'm going to click that to the layer below it. Then I'm going to go to the texture, and I'm going to press Control J. Then I'm going to clip that to the layer below it. Then I'm going to change the blending mode of the texture copy from linear light back to normal, like that. And now you can see if I turn off the texture, it turns off the texture copy automatically. If I turn off the color, it turns off the color copy automatically. But now for the sake of our editing, we are going to be using the texture layer, the texture copy, and the color copy over here. So what you need to do from here is I'm going to turn off the texture and select the color copy, and I'm going to start mixing away. So over here you can see my mixer brush selected, and on the mixer brush that I'm going to be using, I have the following settings. Number one, it is transparent, so I have to make sure that I select this one, make sure that here it is transparent. So then I'm going to have a weight of 40, a load of 40, a mix of 90, a flow of 100%. So in case you want to make sense of these particular numbers, I have a full course on frequency that you can I'm going to be uploading a bit later, but you can go to my TikTok, there's a video about this. So once that is done, I'm going to mix, and mixing is the most crucial part of the FS process, because you can separate nicely using the same radius, but if you do your mixing badly, they're going to end up with a very bad image. So the first thing I want to do is I want to pick another tool, for example, the patch tool, and patch away the main blemishes that I can see instead of mixing them away. So I'm going to take the patch tool, and something like this, I can just select it like that and patch it away. Same as this one over here, same as this one over here. And what other blemish can I think this was part of the glitter that you are using. I'm also going to remove this, and yeah, maybe just this, and this, and this over here, like that. And now let me go back to my mixer brush B, and let's mix away. I'm going to start with the hands going up. So I'm going to do another video on mixing, because mixing is the most technical part about FS, but once you get your mixing right, you're good to go. So let me mix away. I'm going to do this using my pace. I'm a bit fast at this. I've been doing FS for the last 7 to 8 years, and I've gotten a very good pace. I can do an image in less than 5 minutes. So in case you're starting out on frequency separation, do not aspire to be this fast at first. Work on becoming good at it. Then once you master the concept and you can mix nicely, you can now work on gaining speed, because if you gain speed without gaining understanding the concept, you're going to be finishing the image very quickly but with a lot of mistakes. So this kind of mixing takes a bit of time. And another thing I would really encourage you guys to do is buy a very good mouse. See what I'm using? I'm using a gaming mouse that is going to be very easy on my hands and very soft to the touch. So let me mix this away. I'm going to fasten this part of the video in editing so that we don't waste a lot of time watching me. Watching me mixing. Yeah, but I'm going to do a lot of videos on mixing. If you want to meet me to teach you how to mix, because once you learn how to mix, you have mastered frequency separation, because you can use an action for the separation. For example, I can send my actions to you, and it's going to do the whole separation for you, but no action is going to mix for you. So in case you want to improve your skill in frequency separation, aspire to master mixing. This is the most crucial part of the process. And if I just to turn my color layer off and on, you can see the difference that I made to the image. So I'm not doing a very perfect job at it. I can see a lot of areas that are messing up, but for the sake of time and keeping the video a bit brief, we are going to do another video on mixing and effects a bit later. So this is just a workflow video, and let me finish on this. Yeah, so I'm almost done mixing the image, and just to give an idea of what I've done, I'm going to zoom out so that you can see the whole image, and I'm going to toggle my before and after so that you can see the difference that my mixing has done. I've not done it so well or to perfection, but it's decent enough. So I brought back my texture, and now let me turn off my color copy where I was mixing. You see the difference? So I can see a bit of areas that need still need more work, but I'm not going to be perfecting the image now. Let's go to the next step, and the next step, and then the next step is cloning the texture. So I'm going to select my texture copy, then I'm going to take the clone stamp. Shortcut is S, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to be picking a good texture and sampling it over bad texture. So good over bad, good over bad, good over evil, good over evil. And I'm going, so these are a bit faster and easier than mixing. So I can do this way faster than I can mix. Okay, so I'm removing, these are glitters. So you can notice for the glitters, part of the glitters were in the color layer and part of the glitters were in the texture layer. So, and that is how you normally do frequency separation, because you want to handle each part of the image separately, because the tools that are going to be doing a good job in fixing color will not do a good job in fixing texture. So that's why we mixed color, but we cloned and stamped our texture. So yeah, not bad. Needs a lot of work to be done because we're shooting with glitters in the previous look, and glitters are very stubborn. So I'm going to get rid of as many of them as possible. Here we go. Almost done. Where I did the patching, you can see that the remainder of the sky is there. I can remove that like that. Yeah, and I'm almost done cloning and stamping away. Yeah, not bad. Let's go to the face. Something like that. Over there, over here, over here, like that. So let's keep doing it. Let's keep proceeding. Like that. So it's cloning the texture layer is a bit easier and faster than mixing the color layer. Like you can just notice, I've taken way shorter time than I took when I was mixing the image. So I'm not done. a lot of work needs still to be done over here, because I wish we would have gotten rid of the glitters before shooting, but here we are. But maybe for the sake of showing what I was doing this particular video, so let me just to see the progress we have made, we are going to turn off the whole group, the whole FS group now, because we have made some changes in the color and some changes in the texture. So let me turn off the FS layer and let me zoom in a bit like that, and look at the difference. So that is before we did mixing and cloning, and that is after. Before, after, before, after, before, after. So it's not a perfectly done image, but it's decent enough. So the next step is I'm going to do a bit of color and lighting changes in the camera raw filter. And how do we get back there? So I'm going to merge these layers into a new layer. So I'm going to select the layer at the top. Then I'm going to press Control, Shift, Alt, and E. It is going to merge all the visible layers into a new layer and call it layer 1. I can rename this to image with FS, and so I can now pick these and go to the camera raw filter and do a bit of changes. And just to make it a bit better, the first thing I'm going to do is convert to a smart object, because as a smart object I can even mask the effects I'm going to put in the camera raw filter and mask them in and out depending on how I want them to be visible. So I'm going to right click on the same and I'm going to convert to smart object like that. So then after converting to smart object, takes a moment because a lot of is happening in the background. So after converting to the smart object, you can see something changed. I'm going to take the camera raw filter. So I'm going to go to the filter window and select camera raw filter, or Control Shift and A, and it's going to give me this particular interface. You remember you were here previously when starting on the image. I'm going to hit Q again to get a before and after. So then I'm going to now do a bit of lighting and color changes. And from how I shoot in studio, I normally don't have to do a lot of that kind of image correction. So I just have to maybe tweak a bit to my liking, and I'm going to be done. So maybe, for example, I can just lift my shadows a bit because of where my light was not hitting strongly. And for the sake of where my light was hitting strongly, I can drop my highlights a bit like that to tone down the highlights a bit. I can also drop my whites down a bit. So then I think my white balance is accurate. I'm not going to be taking the white. I love the warmth of the image, and I think I'm going to save this image like this, because from based on my workflow, I don't normally do a lot of color grading in post. Me, I just want to reproduce color. So if she was wearing green and it is green in my photo, I am happy. Let's proceed. So after you do all that you want to do here, you can do a lot. You can correct the lighting and the color. You can come to color and work on things like color temperature, vibrance, tint, saturation. You can come to effects, things like dehaze. You can come to things like curve. You're going to go through this software a bit later. It is very, very intense in features. There's color mixing, there's color grading for you color grading people, and there's detail for people who want to sharpen, reduce noise, and etc and etc. But for the sake of my workflow, I just do the bare minimum, and I'm going to hit OK like that. It's going to save my changes. And now if I want to turn off the changes, I can simply come here to the smart filters window and turn that off. You see, that is before and that is after. Before and after. And now you can even go ahead and mask away some of the effects that you don't want to see in your photo, but you're not going to do that for this particular image. So the other thing I want to ensure before I'm not ready to save this particular image, but what I want to ensure before saving this particular image is in the right color profile for global viewing on phones, on computers, and uploading on social media, and etc and etc. So that is going to avoid that issue of the image looking nice and has good color in the software, but once you open the image in another photo viewer or in your phone, the colors shift and look different. So I'm going to go to edit. With the image selected, I'm going to go to edit. So then convert to profile over here. And I want to make sure that here in the destination space, the profile I have is sRGB. So if you don't have sRGB over there, you might maybe have working CMYK. Make sure that you have working RGB, sRGB, and hit OK. That way, you're going to be having the image looking the same in terms of color when it is in the software and after you export it. So after here, I'm ready to export the image. I'm going to go to my file menu, then I'm going to save as. I'm going to retain the original file name, just add something. Yeah, I normally put something like ABF. F means AB means it is an edited image, and F means it was not cropped. It is the full size of the image and the full the original aspect ratio. So then I'm going to save as type. I'm going to have it as JPEG. Leave the rest as it is, and I'm going to click save. It's going to take me to a new window, and in this particular window, I want to have quality at 12 or maximum, and I want to have format options at the baseline, and I'm going to hit OK like that. And so now let's go to our file manager, and let's see what we have. So just to make it more interesting, I want to bring the JPEG format of this photo over here. So let me go to the JPEG file and look for photo number 6659. Here we go. I'm going to copy this. Then I'm going to paste it over here, Control V. And now here is the whole family. This is my edit, okay? The original JPEG and the original raw file, original JPEG, and my edit. And just to compare my JPEG versus the original JPEG, I'm going to open this in Photos. So right click, open with Photos. Thank you. And I'm going to do the same to the original JPEG. Open with like that, Photos. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select them, put one on either side of the screen. So press Windows, right arrow key, then on the other side put that. And now just to bring to make the comparison a bit better, we are going to zoom in a bit. So let me zoom in to around 25%, drag it there, go to the other one, same 25%, drag it there. And now, like you can see, this is my original JPEG from the camera, and this is my edited JPEG from Photoshop. And I hope that you'll have the difference. So I'm not a very heavy lifter in editing, but at least in terms of skin work, that is an area I'm good at. So in case you love this particular video and the workflow that I taught, leave your comments in the comment section, and you can maybe request for more workflows. And in case you want me to do some steps in this particular workflow as a full video on by itself, you can also share the topic or the segment that you want me to go over. For example, something like mixing, and I'm going to do exactly that. So here we are. This is an image I can happily send to the client or even put on my social media, even though I've not done a perfect work, for example, in the mixing stage, but it's still good enough. So here we are. That is the after, and this is the before. I think it is a beautiful difference. I love the warmth and the skin in the second photo as compared to the pale color of her skin in the original JPEG. So quite a good job done, and the name is Simon Lines, aka Mwalimu. Please follow us on social media. We are Soma Studios KE everywhere, including on YouTube. By watching this particular video, you can follow us on TikTok. You can follow us on Facebook. We are everywhere as Soma Studios KE. And in case you want to follow my personal profiles, where I do a lot of education and content creation, sharing on videography, photography, the business of it, motorcycling, DJing, you can check out Simon Lines Chege on all platforms: TikTok, Facebook, X, Instagram, and everywhere. So this is the end of the video. I hope you learned something, and I'm going to see you guys in the next workflow video where I plan to do Lightroom workflow for event photography. So it was nice, and you guys have a good time editing.